Well, it's been a crazy week with my poison oak or sumac or whatever situation. It's been maddening. It's been painful. Most importantly, it's been gross. And I needed to order some parts. And I thought, well, there's an opportunity to do a video where you won't see my gross arms and hands, which is good for everyone. Trust me. So I thought I'd show you guys how I choose parts and where I get them from. I get asked about that a lot, and I kind of answer quickly in passing, but I thought some guys would really like to see this. So we're going to start by getting some parts for that Marshall Super Bass. And that was 9 days ago. The last video was up. I've done some other stuff on it since then, but it's time to order some parts. And we're going to order parts for those 5 Super Reverbs because we need all the parts to get going. I have an awful lot of parts in stock, but not everything. So let's start. Let's start with the Marshall. It's a little more straightforward. We're going to start at CE distribution. Now, you have to have a business license and get approved from them to go through CE distribution and get discounts. You can go here as tubesandmore.com, antiqueelectronics.com. I think I got a few other business names for the general public. You can get these same parts. You just won't get the same prices you're going to see here. Sorry. So let's start with the filter caps. So I go to capacitors here. So I want to go to F&T because we're going to do the big can caps. So dual 50s, 1095 each. This amp takes 6. Add to cart. All right, so that's that. Let me cross that off my list of things to order. Let's get some film caps. So let's browse all products again. Capacitors. It's faster than going back through submenus. For these, I'm going to go down here to Vishay, and I'm going to look at the price of these Vishay Rotorstein 630 volt MKT 1813s. I love these. So I'm going to need some 22 nanofarads. I need 5 of those and 200 nanofarads. So let's start with 100 nanofarads, $1.95 each. So let's see what the price for that same cap is at Mouser. Now, Mouser, it's a confusing website to navigate if you haven't done it before. People try and get scared off. It's not that difficult. Now, a note on that, if you're using it on your phone, their phone site is terrible. It's really almost impossible for me to get things on there. But the real computer site is very easy. And most of the things you're going to order are here in this category that they call passive components. So passive components, capacitors. We're looking at film capacitors. And we are going to be looking at axial film capacitors. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at just the things they have in stock. And I'm going to first choose Vishay and apply filters. And then let's go 630 volts DC, 0.1 microfarad, same thing as 100 nanofarad. Apply filters. Now they've got a couple different ones. They've got these MKP 18394s. And here's the MKT 1813s down here. And they've got 3 different kinds of 94s, one kind of 1813. And you can see here that the 18394 is a polypropylene cap. Nothing wrong with that. But in the Marshall, we want the sound of the polyester, the MKT 1813. So that's the one I want. And they are $2.21 each through Mouser, $1.69 if you order 10, $1.58 if you order 50, etc. So $1.58 at 50 versus $1.95 for one through CE. So $2 at CE, $2.21 at Mouser. Sometimes I'll pay a little bit extra to get everything from one site because I'll save on shipping. In this case, since I know I'm going to be ordering things from both companies, I'll go ahead and get everything for this amp as CE and end up saving maybe $10 for the owner. So I need 2 of these 100 nanofarads. I'm sorry if I throw people off by saying nanofarad. It's easier to say than 0.1 microfarad. So those have been adding those to cart. Then I'm going to order 6 of the 22 microfarads. Sorry, I threw myself off. 22 nanofarads, which is 0.022 microfarads. Those are $1.39. Cross those off my list. I need a 250 picofarad and a 500 picofarad. So I know from past experience I want to do that at Mauser. So let me scroll up and go to all products, Vishay, passive components, capacitors, but not film capacitors. So I'll just click here on capacitors. And then I'll go to ceramic capacitors. And I know that I like the Vishay series. I want them to be showing me what's in stock, apply filters. And I know that which series I want, but the series isn't showing up yet. So I'm going to do 1 kilovolt DC, and I want radial, apply filters. 562R is the series that I want preferably. There are other good choices, but these are the ones that tend to sound the most like the original caps, though the old Lemcos do vary. All right, so now I sort by price, ascending, because there are variations on the same thing. They range from 86 cents to $1.15. Let's see what the difference between the $1.15 one and the 86-cent one is. The less expensive is $2.50 versus $4.70, but other than that, the specs are pretty much the same. Same sizes, same dielectric material, same operating temperature range. So I can get the ones which cost the least. Let's see. These two 250s are orange. They have a brown and an orange 470, but it's worth paying 4 more cents for both caps to match. So I'll grab one at 86 and one at $1.15. That takes care of the 2 ceramic discs that I will need. All right, we're going to stay on Mauser for a bit. Even though I know CE does carry the next part I want to order, they sell in multiples of 5, and I'm not sure that the price is going to work out as well. So let's do the 20K 3 watts that I want for the first dropping resistor in that super bass. So let me go up to, I'm staying with all products, Vishay, passive components, but I don't want capacitors now. I want resistors. Sorry if I sound a little bit odd today. I guess it's a stress thing. It feels like I'm coming down with something. Let's see. All right. So I want to go here to, this is where it gets confusing because they have a very strange sorting initially. I want to go to the through hole resistors, choose in stock, and I'm going to go down in this case to 3 watt. Actually, I'm going to choose 2.5 watt, 2.6 watts, and 3 watts if possible, because Vishay's Pro 3 series is sometimes listed as 2.5 watt. I want to use axial, apply filters. There's Vishay, select that. And I could choose an awful lot of different things here. I guess I'll do one to show you guys why I'm going to choose the one I'm going to choose. I want a 20 kilo ohm, 20K, apply filters. Vishays 20K resistors that are available. I can get this one here, which is a metal film for $298. That's actually a really nice resistor for a lot of purposes. There's the Vishay Dale wire wound for $472. Way overkill for what we're doing here. There's the another one of the CPF series, and here's the Pro 3. Now the Pro 3 is 70 cents versus $1.46 for the CPF. And I know that in this case, both these, I want to select them, are, and I'm going to click on compare just for you guys. Both of these are more than suitable. So they're about the same length. It's nice to know the length and make sure it fits in the space, and the lead diameter. That can be very important on certain things. Either one will fit in the space on the board. Either one will do the job very well. The one, which is $1.50 almost, is rated to 230 degrees Celsius versus 155 degrees Celsius. The more expensive one has a colder operating range, -65 versus -55. Basically, even on this cheaper one, you would die before this resistor died. And the more expensive one, the resistor would even last even longer. But it's crazy. We're not sending this to space. It's not going to be operating in an oven. So the flame-proof resistor is almost twice as much, just approximately twice as much as the regular metal film resistor. Other than that, they're entirely comparable and suitable. And I really like the way the Pro 3 looks. It kind of matches the old Pyre resistors, the reddish brown or brownish red in the old Marshalls. The one voltage rating here that might be in our benefit to the less expensive resistor is at 750 versus 500. Not that we're going to be getting a voltage drop approaching either of those in this circuit. It's going to be a voltage drop probably of 20 to 50 volts. But it's nice to know that's one of the other differences. Some people may be hung up on that 1% for the more expensive resistor versus 5%. It really doesn't matter in this case for a dropping resistor. So I will add one of these to the cart. And now let me go back a bit. Actually, I'll show you another thing I can do. Let me click on this Pro 3. Let me close the other mouse or tab so it doesn't get confusing. I know that half of you stopped watching 10 minutes ago, but those of you who are interested in this stuff, here's my video for you. So, a different way to select parts. Instead of getting there from the main thing, I'm already in the resistors. So I can select the attribute Vishay. I can choose axial. I can choose metal film resistors through hole. That's going to get me where I want. I'm going to go ahead and click similar because I want to get some 2 watts or some 10. Actually, I'm going to get some 2 watts later, but I'm going to get some 10Ks in that same 3 watt. So choose the Pro 3 here, which I could have done on the previous screen. Turns out I thought I was getting 2 watts. Sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting. Scroll down here to 10K. And, I'm doing this the slow way so you guys can follow along. Normally, I would have selected 10K and 20K in my initial selection. So I've got some 3 watt 10Ks. Grab 2 of those. These are only 55 cents each. And I think the reason for that is a 10K is a very common value. A 20K is not. I bet the 22K, which is a more common value, would have cost a little less. But for those who might get hung up on 1% versus 5% tolerance resistors for this purpose, 20K versus 22K is a bigger difference. Actually, I do need to get some 2 watts now. So let me go back a little bit to where before I selected the Pro 3 and we choose the Pro 2. This is the same series of resistor. Did I mention I'm not feeling my best? It's the same resistor series, only it's the 2 watt version. And I'm going to get some of these for the plates of the Marshall. Not all of them need to be replaced in the Marshall, but 3 of them do. That's 100 ohms. Oops, I want 100K. So as they are inexpensive and shipping is expensive, I'm going to order 2 more than I know that I need, just in case I need to have 2 others. So 48 cents versus 51 cents. The cheaper ones are just in a bag. The more expensive ones are arrived taped together, which is actually a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to go the cheaper ones that are just loosely bagged. I'm going to order 4 of those. And we have 2 more components that we need to get for this super lead, I believe. Just 1 more. Sorry, I was thrown off by remembering what was in the Marshall versus what's supposed to be in the Marshalls. Someone converted that thing to a split cathode, but originally it should be a shared cathode. So we're going to go up here to All Products Vishay Passive Components and go back to capacitors. We need that shared cathode capacitor. So we're going to go to aluminum electrolytic capacitors. We need three more components, all in this section. Sorry, it's been one of those days. Axial leaded and Vishay in stock. And I want a 320 or 330 microfarad cap, which is a crazy high value that's really not needed, but that's what they use. So 330 microfarad. I can choose 16, 25, 35, 40, 50, 63 volts. The original was like 6. The 16 would be fine. I'm going to choose the 16, the 25, and the 63. Actually, I meant to not choose all those, sorry. Because I know that sometimes the low voltage ones cost more than the higher voltage ones, just because of the way caps are made today. And 330 microfarad versus the original 320, no one can hear or detect any difference there. I'll apply the filters for that. And then I want to see how long they are. 18 and 20.5 are going to be fine. The 30 millimeter might be a little bit long, but let me look at the capacitors here, sort by price. So the least expensive in that value is actually a MAL series. Is that the series name or is that just the part number? No, it says 021 ASM series. All right, that's a good series for these purposes. That's a 16 volt 330, is 18 millimeters long. That probably would work really well, and it's 232. In the past, I've gotten this one here for 263, which is the 118 AHT series. The 118 AHT is rated for 125 degrees versus 85 for the 021 ASM. Again, same negative 40 degrees Celsius, we'd all be dead. Ripple current is equivalent. ESR, practically equivalent. Let's see. One's a high temp, one's general purpose. One's rated for 8,000 hours. The other one's rated for typically 1,000 hours. 21 ASM is 1,000 hours. A note on that, though, that is a 1,000-hour rating at 63 volts DC at 85 degrees. It's not going to be 85 degrees on that cathode, and it's not going to be 63 volts or even 16 volts. It's going to be typically less than 2.5 volts, and it's not going to get up to 85 degrees. So it's going to last thousands and thousands of hours, even if I go for the regular rated 021 ASM. So I could choose the 16 volt version of the ASM. I could choose the 16 volt version of the other one whose name escapes me right now, the 118 AHT, or I could choose this 63 volt version of the ASM for $355 more. You have almost infinite lifespan in that purpose with the 63 volts, but that is a 30 millimeter length. So I'm going to go with this one here, which I've ordered before, previous purchase. It's 18 millimeters long. It's got a higher temperature rating, though that's not necessary. It's 8,000 hours at 125 degrees at 16 volts. This cap will not die in this Marshall for decades and decades and decades. So, bye. So now that I'm there, I want to see what they have else in that series. So at Vishay, I'll just select the same series, which is the, where is it? 118 AHT. And I'm going to choose the two bias caps from the same series. So I want 10 microfarad. They only have 100 volt. I prefer to get 150. Well, let's take out that series and see what my options are. So 10 microfarad in stock, apply filters. Let's do 150, 160, and 100 because the length can be an issue there. Let's see if there's anything else I want to worry about. Let's sort by price. That gives a pretty good idea. As the price goes up, the quality can go up, but not always what you think. So I want to see what the length is as well. So length. The 100 volts all tend to be 10 or 18 millimeters long. If I go down to the 150, 160s, we're getting to 20 millimeters and 20, so between 20.5 and 25 millimeters. I think we could get away with that. Well, I'm going to choose 2 of these 138 AMLs for that as well. Now we'll get the cart, look at those caps, and make sure I've got everything I'm going to need there. Ignore that DC power connector. That's for a pedal board I'm doing. That's outside the scope of this. Alrighty, that's everything there necessary. Checked off the list. Now let's go over to CE and get some stuff for the super reverbs. I want to go back to capacitors. We're going to do the filter caps. Come on, CE, you can do it. I'm going to scroll down to these MODs, the mod electronics. I've had really good luck with these. So I want to get 2 70 microfarad 350 volt caps per super reverb. And I want to get 3 of the 20 microfarad 500 volt caps per super reverb. And I'll initially do the order as if it was 1 amp, so I can send those parts, the prices to the owners. Now I need to get some smaller caps. I need to get some 22 or 20 microfarads and some 4.7s and a 47 or a 50. Now I could come in here and get the 25 microfarad 50 volts and the 50 microfarad 100 volt from MOD, but they don't have the 4.7 or a 5 microfarad that I like for the vibrato channel. So we're going to go to clear the mods out, and we're going to use Vishays again for this amp, like we have on the Marshall. We're going to compare prices between the Vishay caps here and the same cap at Mauser. So here's the 021 ASM series, and they've got the BC series here, but these are higher voltage stuff, 22 microfarad, but they don't carry the 70 or 100 like I need, so I don't use these for the supers. They also have lower voltage ratings, typically 450 volts versus 500. So, but on these, let's see, I got a 4.7 at 63 volts for $1.49. If I go to Mauser and choose one of these Vishay caps, and choose Vishay, and I'll choose axial. I can't choose axial. Let's choose 10 microfarad. That'll give me stuff that'll get me to where I want to be. Choose 4.7 microfarad. Apply filters. 63 volts. All right, same cap through Mauser is $1.24, and it was $1.49 here at CE. So I'm going to get it at Mauser because I'm ordering stuff from Mauser. Normally I would go ahead and pay that 20 cents difference to get from CE, so I could do all the order at CE and save $9 on the shipping. So let's go ahead and choose that series. Vishay 021 ASM, 63 volts, and we're going to get some 22 microfarads. They're $1.77 versus $1.69. 69 versus 77. Isn't that the way? All right, so we'll get the 22s from CE. So I need 6 of those. Crossing off my list. And now I need a 47 microfarad 100 volt. That is 295 here at CE. And at a Mauser, that would be $267 versus $295. So I'll get that one in Mauser. Remember, it's not a lot per part, but I've got to get it for 5 amps, so I can pass on that savings to the owner. Now we're going to stay at Mauser, though they have this part at CE. It's better price at Mauser. I'm going to get some more 2-watt resistors that we're going to want. The Pro 2 series from Vishay. So here we go. Here's one. I'm going to choose Vishay Pro 2 axial 2-watt, just so that series definitely comes up. And I want a 470 ohm, which goes in the bias supply. And I want a 1K for one of the droppers. And I want a 4.7K for the other dropper. And I want two 220Ks for the voltage balance resistors. Sort by price. So 470 ohms, 37 cents, one of those. Continue shopping. 220K, 41 cents, two of those. 1K, one of those. You can populate more than one buy at a time, which is what I usually do. I'm just doing this for clarity. And one 4.7K. And now I've got 2 more resistors to add to the Super Reverb order. I want to get some screen grid resistors. So I like the Vishays, but we're not doing almost anything else in common. So we're going to go to take off the metal film resistors. And we're going to take off we're going to skip film resistors entirely. Just go to resistors, wire wounds, 3 watt. Vishay. I know people will be like, why Vishay, not Ohmite? Ohmite's got some nice stuff. A lot of these brands are great for various things. I've had very good, consistent results with Vishay for this purpose. And there are 2 specific series I really like for doing screen grid resistors. Past where I need to be. Sorry. 470 ohm. Go up. There you go. There you go. Apply filters. And I like the AC series. And sometimes it's called the PAC series. Apply the filter there. These are their low mass ones that I use all the time. The AC is 70 cents each. That'll do very nicely. The specs are the same. I don't know why one costs $1.01 and the other one costs 70 cents. The specs are identical. So that takes care of all the parts necessary for one super reverb and one super bass. It's a super kind of video. I'll put the totals of the parts per amp up on the screen. Now, before I sign off, for the 2 of you who are bored enough to make it to the end of this video, this is I think my least entertaining video of all time. But I know that to some people this will be like, oh, that's how you do it. And maybe some insight into how I choose things. And if you want to argue with me, great. I could use the comments. It helps the algorithm. Thanks. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to end this now.